About 2 years ago, I built this Steampunk case for my daughter's computer, and now it's not fast enough for her to play her game, so I'm going to upgrade it. And so I just thought I'd document the process that I go through to upgrade it. I've got a new processor, an AMD. That's a 6-core, 3.5 gigahertz. It's got a 600 watt power supply. Got an AMD Radeon HD 7850 video card and a 990 FX gigabyte main board. Put the side panel off. If you haven't worked inside of a computer, you have to be careful of electrostatic discharge, because the static electricity that you build up in your body can destroy the components on a main board or a hard drive. So you have to be careful of that. So it's probably a good idea, if you're not real experienced, to use one of these. This is a electrostatic, anti-electrostatic discharge wrist strap that you can use, and then you just clip this to metal in the case so that you're grounded and you won't damage anything in there. But since I have quite a bit of experience working inside of computers, I'm not going to use it. It just gets in my way. I just make sure that I ground myself before I touch anything inside here. Often you just touch metal and it gets rid of the electrostatic discharge, electrostatic electricity that's built up in your body. So anyway, we're going to start taking stuff apart, and the first thing I'm going to do is just disconnect all the power connectors. Get what their capacities are, but the new one is a 1 terabyte, so she'll have a lot more room to store files and install games than she did before. This computer, though, it served her purpose for a couple years. It just was getting to where it was just too slow for her playing some of the games she plays. So take out this USB. And we'll take out the video card. Make sure I touch metal. Just kind of rock these cards back and forth and they come right out. Okay, I think we can get the main board out of here now. Just want to make sure that you touch metal every once in a while when you get down in here messing with these components, because you don't want to have a discharge from your body destroy your motherboard. It's right there. Out it comes. Now I'm going to take this power supply out. For that I can use my quarter screwdriver. This power supply was just a 300 watt, and her new main board requires 500 watts or more. So Had to get another power supply. If you don't have a good power supply, then required by the main board, it'll cause the system to be unstable, and we don't want that. So we got our DVD drive out. I'll probably be reusing that DVD drive on the other computer I want to put together. Okay, so everything's out of there. Put these wires out of the way, and I'm gonna go get me a cup of coffee, and then I'll start putting that new main board in here. Okay, now I gotta take this. Has a back plate for all the ports. I'm gonna pop that out. We got a new one, a new main board. And this pops in there. That. Of course, when you get a new main board, they put them in an anti-static bag so you don't take the chance of destroying it, handling it. So take it out of that bag now. Make sure I touch metal and don't move around the floor. Take the main board out. Holes lined up. We'll put these back screws in first. Oh, wrong screw. One of these babies. Now it's time to put the processor in. The processor has a mark right in the corner right there that indicates pin 1, and you'll have to look at your documentation for your main board to find out where pin 1 is. So it shows you here on this main board that it orients in this direction, and you got your locking lever right here, and so pin 1's right there. You lift your locking lever up, and the processor will pop right in there. I'll make sure I get all static discharge, electrostatic discharge out of my body. Take the processor, and you can see right there that gold mark on the corner right there indicates pin 1, and it orients like this, and it should just pop right in there, which it did, and then you put your lever down to lock it. That locks the processor in place. Next, put the fan in. This is one of the things I consider really important, is thermal grease. And what this does is it helps to make sure that the heat dissipates into the heat sink, and then the fan can help exhaust the heat away from the CPU. So I'm going to put a little dab of that on here. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. Not that much, because it's going to flatten out and spread out on there when you clamp down the fan. And put the fan on there. It's got some notches right here that these clips hook on. Okay. Then after you get them hooked on there, on those two tabs on the side, you just flip this lever up over, and that clamps it down on top of the CPU. Then you'll take your 4-pin plug, and right here it says CPU fan, and you just plug it in right there. Just like that. Okay, got the CPU installed. Now we're going to put the memory in. Next we're going to put our memory in, and you'll have to look at your main board to see what type of memory you have to get for the main board. In this case, this is DDR3, 1600 megahertz, 1.5 volt. And you'll put these tabs out like that, and there's a notch right here, so you just got to make sure it orients right in the slot. Just slide it down in there, and then just push it down, and it clips itself in place, and that's all there is to putting the memory in. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is put the video card in. Okay, this card is massive. 2 big fans and a large heat sink to keep it cool. It's a gigabyte AMD Radeon HD 7850 video card, and it has some protective plastic tabs that got to come off here. Got them all in place on here. I guess I can leave that one in. It's got an HDMI connection too if you need to hook it up to an HD TV. Okay, and this has got a plastic locking tab right here that you got to move back like that. Just orient the card in there. There we go. Okay, video card's installed. Next I'm going to be connecting the hard drive indicator light and the power indicator light and the power switch wires, and they are going to go right here on these connectors here, and so I'll be doing that next. Depending on your main board, you have to consult your user's manual to to figure out where they go and how they orient in there. It always helps to have a big magnifying glass because the letters and numbers down there are really small. Okay, it should be all set there now. Switch the camera over on the other side and I'll put the power supply in. Okay, the next step now is put the power supply in. The power supply just goes in just like this. Tight fit. 4 screws hold the power supply in place. Get that started by hand. Okay, power supply is screwed in. Now we're going to make our connections. Okay, that one's connected. Okay, I got the power connectors all connected. I had to look at the power supply documentation and the main board documentation to find out that this one, an 8-pin, goes here, and this one right here get off. The 6-pin goes to the graphics card. So that was a problem I was having. Anyway, they're all connected. Next, I'm going to put the 1 terabyte Western Digital SATA hard drive in. Next, I'm going to put the DVD drive in. It's an HP DVD drive, so I'm going to slide that in there. Hold it in place. Okay, all the power connections are connected, and now I'm going to put the SATA cables, plug them in, and again it depends on your motherboard. Right now I'm plugging in the 1 and 0. I'll put them in the 1 and 0 connectors. Zero is going to go on the hard drive. drive's connected. I'm going to connect the DVD drive. Okay. Connect power to the hard drive. Okay. Okay, we're all connected up. Just put the new cooling fans in. And we'll put the cooling fan, the case cooling fans. I bought new ones because their old ones were making a lot of noise, so I'll put some brand new ones in. And hopefully it'll run nice and quiet. Okay. Okay, I got everything connected, and the main board and everything's in, and I'm getting ready to start it. Got our keyboard and mouse hooked up and monitor, and we'll see if she takes off. I always leave the side off just in case there's a connection that I did wrong, and I have to kind of monkey with the connection. So we'll see how it goes here in just a second. Yeah, as you can see, I got it up and running, and now I'm installing Windows. So that'll take a while to install. So everything's up and running, and now all I gotta do is install Windows and all the drivers, and you see a nice blue LED fan in the front there. That looks cool. All the lights are working. So now I'm going to put the side on, screw it on, and it's just a matter of installing a copy of Windows and all the drivers, and put all of her files back on there, and she'll be ready to go. It's a Steampunk case.